What's up, y'all? You're tuning in to the Here to Uplift podcast. If you've been here before, welcome back. And thank you for being a part of our Uplift community. If you're new here, woohoo! Thanks for joining us, and we hope you continue listening and engaging with our community, where we center the stories of inspiring and impactful entrepreneurs and community leaders. I'm Lolo Fisher, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back to the Here to Uplift podcast, y'all. I'm Lolo, and I'm here with Castigo, Jimenez. I am super excited for this conversation today. It's one that we've been trying to get scheduled for a while. So, Bree, please introduce yourself.
So my name is Bree. I'm from San Jose, California, and I fight here out of Rumble City Boxing.
Awesome. And part of why I wanted to have you on here was to talk about your journey into pro fighting. So can you just give us a little insight as to, like, when you actually decided to be a pro fighter and your journey into that?
So I had an uncle who actually used to train my brother and I. He was an MMA fighter and pretty much grew up training with him. One of his really good friends was his trainer, his instructor. So I used to follow him to the gym. We started training there. My brother and I started together. Pretty much MMA throughout my entire teenage years, 13 up until I was about 23, 24. And then unfortunately I ended up breaking my foot. So we ended up switching over. Coach Cesar's been there with me in my corner throughout the entire thing. And we pretty much, that was it. We made the switch, stuck to boxing, and now we're here.
Yeah, so I feel like whenever I hear people say they broke a foot or an ankle, it like never fully heals back. Right?
Never. Oh, no, never, ever. 2 surgeries later, 6 screws later, it's still not 100% back to where it's supposed to be. But from what they told me, it's not going to be. I'm pretty stubborn, and I never really let it fully heal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're stuck with it. We work around it. We work with it. So
I feel that though, because when I first tore my ACL and then also tore my meniscus, like that first surgery I had, they were like, yeah, like you should be really good, recoup for 6 months, do all your recovery, and then if you stop dancing or stop running, you should be good for a long time. Well, of course I'm not gonna stop dancing and running. Like those are the things that bring me joy.
Caesar, like we were out at the park. I was out there with the boot on. We were training with it.
Stop.
Just being as stubborn as could be.
I believe that. When I see you train, you train hard.
No, we were out there with the boot for months, and then it just never healed and re-broke, and it was just a disaster. But I mean, fortunately, he's always been in my corner, always motivated me no matter what, through injuries, through whatever has been going on in life. So we're here. The dream has started, and we're just getting started.
I love that. So I'm kind of curious already on the advice side. It sounds like Coach Cesar's been like a huge part of your training journey.
He's been the best. I don't even know. I don't even have words to explain like the amount of just support and motivation and just the mentor that he's been to me in this sport and in life in general, really.
Yeah. What do you think people should look for when they're looking for a coach if they want to go on a similar journey?
Chemistry, I would say. Like somebody who is going to motivate you, who's going to yell at you, who's going to tell you, this is what you're doing wrong. Like, we don't want a bunch of yes men in your corner. That's not going to get you anywhere. So like if I come here, he tells me throw 1,000 jabs till you get it right. We're going to throw about 2,000 till we get it right. So he jumps in there, he spars with me, he gives me black eyes every other week. Like that's the kind of coach that you need. Like
you need a coach that gives you black eyes every week.
Exactly. Like you need somebody who's going to push you. Because you need a coach that's going to be able to see your potential when you don't see it yourself.
Yeah.
So, and that's who he is.
I like that a lot. I think there was a podcast we did recently. I want to say it came out early January, but I said something, and when I played it back, I was like, I don't know if I fully agree with what I said to myself. And it was that I don't feel like people hold me accountable the same way I hold other people accountable. So if someone tells me a goal and they're like, I want an accountability partner, I'm like, cool, I'm checking in on you, I'm pushing you. And then on the opposite end, when I ask people to like hold me accountable to something, they're like, you're working so hard. Like, I didn't feel like I needed to remind you. You're just doing it. And I think it's because when we already have that natural work ethic of like pushing ourselves, people don't want to push us even further. And I
feel like that's like the role my family takes. Like aside from my brother, because he's very involved too. Like my mom, she's like, you're going back? Like, aren't you going to take a break? And it's like, no, mother, I need you to like tell me to get off the couch and go to the gym when I don't want to. But like, it's like you said, like they're so used to seeing us work so hard that they want to take a break or something. They're like, okay, you deserve it. But coach says you don't deserve a break. So we're going to be in the gym.
Well, see, that's the hard part. Like, how do you determine when you need to take a break or not?
We take a break when coach says it's okay to. Aside from that, we're in here.
Okay.
Freezing, it's cold, it's hot, it don't matter. When we used to be at the park, we'd be out there when it was raining, when it was 105, it didn't matter. We were out there working. So, like, we didn't have a gym at that time, but we were there. Like, no matter what, rain, shine, hail, whatever it was, we were out there running, we were out there working.
Yep.
And one thing I can say is, whenever we get to that goal, that belt that we're going to get, like, me and him can look back and be like, we made it. Like, look at everything that we've come through. I've been with him for over a decade almost now. Like, when I throw a hand and I throw it wrong, he can see it from a mile away.
Yeah.
Like, that's sometimes I like that chemistry that you have with somebody. I go sit in the corner, he tells me one thing, I know exactly what I have to do to go out there and fix it.
Right.
He can give me a look, and I know exactly what he means.
Wow. Does that just come with time?
Just working together pretty much. Okay. And then his style and my style match, and I think mesh very well. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I try to embody his style because I think I'm the person or the fighter that's been with him the longest. So I feel like I've tried to really embody his style, and he's really tried to teach me that style that he has.
Right. So, I think that's a lesson in and out of the ring is like when you find somebody that you really admire and trust or someone you want to emulate, like study everything about them first.
Exactly.
And if you do it their way, then you start learning like, okay, now I can add pieces of me and do it my way.
And that's what we're doing now. Like I feel like I have to learn still everything that I have to learn from him. Mm-hmm. And then also now that we're at this level, add what's needed to succeed at this level.
Yeah.
So,
well,
that's where we're at.
It makes me think about a lot of the folks who listen to this podcast are in the entrepreneurial space. Either they're business owners or they want to be a business owner, want to expand, whatever it looks like. And the self-discipline piece is one of the hardest parts, but that's what you like just exemplified is like rain or shine. We're out there working. So like how do you keep that up?
This sport shouldn't be called boxing. It should be called discipline. Because
the sport of discipline.
Yeah, the sport of discipline. Without it, it's nothing. You have nothing if you cannot discipline yourself. You can come train 4 times a day, but if you don't have discipline at home, you got to go to bed at a certain time. You got to get up at a certain time. You got to eat. The right food. That's probably like 95% of it. Like, I weigh out my food. I'm never an ounce over, never an ounce under. Like, you have to be on the money when it comes to that. Like, when I mean you have to eat, like, precisely, that's really, like, the key. Like, no matter what.
Pure curiosity. When you're in training mode, what does your typical day look like?
Okay, so, like, today, I got up about 9 a.m. I had to be here by 9:30. So I get up, I eat breakfast. I kind of talk to myself, give myself a little pep talk for the day. They only say that you're crazy if somebody talks back. So I think I can talk to myself all day. But so I get here, I warm up. I'm ready to go by like 9:45, 10 o'clock. So then we train till about 11:30. I go home. I try to get another meal in. Then I have strength and conditioning throughout the middle of the day. And I do that. Then I go home, eat again, take a little break, take a little nap maybe. And then we're back here at 4. And we finished at about 7 o'clock, what it is now.
Wow.
So it's just all day, every day, just here, train, home, train, home, train, home. And I'm old now, so I'm in bed by like 9:30. Nobody call me after 9:30 because I'm not going to answer. Unless it's my mom, nobody call me.
Wait, when do you do the fun things? Or is this the fun thing?
I don't. This is my goal. Like, this is my dream come true. And I feel like I'll have time to do it later if but I mean, I'm not really a person that really enjoys to go out and be out there and not very social, I guess you could say.
Introverts.
But I mean, I have like my group of friends, they're very understanding and they're very like supportive and motivating too. Like, they know, like, if they call me and I'll answer, if they text me and I'll answer, she's training. She's either asleep, she's training, she's doing something. But yeah, no, they're very supportive. Like, they travel to my fights. Like, it's insane. Like, my best friend lives in Stockton. Hey, Justine. She already bought her plane ticket to my next fight, which is in TJ, Tijuana, Mexico. She bought it yesterday. She's like, I'm gonna be there.
I love that.
So
that's
she's
real
like,
support.
that's my friend right there for real. Like, so no matter what, she flew out to Santa Ana when we went last time. You could hear her screaming in the back. Like, that's the one person I could hear in the crowd. But yeah, like, I feel like you really need a good like motivational and support team to do this kind of sport. Boxing is a very lonely sport. Like, very lonely, I would say.
What's lonely about it? Like, why do you say that?
I think just everything, because there's nobody to tell you to get up and go. You gotta tell yourself. You got like...
Because you're not on a team.
Right, you're not on a team. So on a team sport, if one person is slacking, you got however many other people on the field, on the court to kind of pick it up.
Right.
Here, if you're slacking, you're getting knocked out. Like, there's nobody to jump in there with you, nobody to jump in there to save you.
Yeah.
Like Coach Cesar, Coach Oscar, they could train you to the highest level to do the best. But the moment you jump in there, it's you. Mm-hmm. They can't fight for you. They can't jump in there with you. It's you. You got to put everything that they gave you and you got to put it out there and do it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I feel like I fell short on my last fight. Okay. Like, they trained, Coach, I think, got me prepared, over prepared, but I got up there, looked at the crowd, out the window. So, don't even remember anything after the first round. So it was very disappointing because I feel like I trained so hard to get there. But we're back, though. We have another fight already set up. We're back in training camp. We're getting ready. I feel like I know what to expect now when it comes to that environment and that scenario. So we're going to come home with a win this time for sure.
I mean, let's talk about it. If you're open to it, I kind of want you to walk us through, like, what the mindset was going into your first professional fight, what happened during that fight, and, like, what your thoughts were after.
So let's see. The day before, I think we got there the day before. We fought on a Thursday, so we flew out on Wednesday. Wednesday, we get there. Everything is fine. I'm starving because, you know, the day before weigh-ins, you can't eat, you can't drink.
You were on it, though. You looked ripped, girl.
You can't do anything that you can't drink. When we landed, it was my mom, my brother, and Coach. Of course, they're all hungry, right? So they're going to go. I'm just sitting there. Coach has this huge, like, burger in front of him, just downing fries. Like, my brother has, like, so much. Like, I don't remember the fight, but I remember what they ate, right? So my brother has this, like, rack of ribs, and my mom, same thing. I'm just sitting there like, all right, you know what?
Y'all better eat your salads right now.
So, we get there, we get back to the hotel. I weigh in. I think I had, like, half a pound to get off. So we just walked on the treadmill for a little bit. That was pretty much it. Next day, we got there, we weighed in. We were underweight by at least, like, 4 pounds, I think. So
you're like, I could have eaten something.
Man, I could have had a little bit of water. But yeah, no, so everything felt good. We went back out the night before, you know, did some work in the parking lot just to, you know, stay loose, stay moving. Cause, you know, we train hard and I feel like when we don't do anything, I get kind of like, not antsy, but just like, I need to do something.
Right.
So everything was fine the night before. I was in the hotel room, you know, talking to my mom, talking to my brother. We were just like, damn, like, all that work, we made it. We're here. Tomorrow is the day. Like, my mom has seen me come home with broken noses, like, just bloody black eyes, all kinds of stuff. She's like, well, you know, tomorrow's the day. Like, you made it. You worked your ass off. So next day, we get up, we eat, we're just kind of relaxing. All my family starts to get there. They all flew in.
And when you say next day, this is the day of the fight?
Fight day, yeah. A lot of my family got there fight day. So they're getting there. You know, you got to say hi to everybody. That day I kind of wanted to be alone, but it's like, everybody came out for you. So you can't really,
you're like trying to be in the zone, but also like appreciate the support.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, everybody's hanging out, but most of them understand, like, they're going to come, I'm going to say hi, and then we're just going to kind of sit there. So that's kind of how it went down. Time starts getting closer, you know, start packing everything up. So take off to the venue. We get there. We get in there and I see it, but there's no crowd there yet, right? It's just chairs and the ring is in the middle. And
it's a huge arena though, because
I cannot believe how big it was. Yeah, so it's like an airplane hangar.
Okay.
And then like they open the back up. There's people standing who didn't get a ticket.
Dang.
I was like, damn, but when we first got there,
it was just empty.
So it looked fine. I'm like, okay, I can do this. So we're in the back, getting everything ready, changing into our outfit that we're gonna wear. Coach is wrapping up the hands, and then we start warming up, and you know, pad work, mitt work, get out of the way, all that kind of stuff, and everything felt fine, like perfect. Like, even the other coaches there, the other fighters there were like, damn, like
you prepared so well, and everything was
like,
just
everything was just like sounding good, perfect. So then the first fighter goes out there, and I'm like, all right, you're next. So they call us up. We're standing there, and I think it was like the ring girl, the commission man, me, my brother, and then Coach. And that's like the way we lined up. So we're behind like this blue curtain, and then my song, Vicente Fernandez, right? It drops, and I'm like, all right, that's me.
They got the right song, right?
They got the right song. So I'm like, okay, that's me. And then the curtain opens, and I feel like I just died like a million deaths. Like, There was so many people. It was, the lights were everywhere, just like the spotlight on the ring. And I'm like, damn. And like everybody starts moving and I can't get my legs to move. And I felt like I found my brother, somebody pushed me. And I'm like, oh shit, like we have to go. So we start going.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect the cameraman to follow me. Like he was walking backwards in front of me, but the camera was like this close to my face.
Sheesh, like
and
y'all
I'm
can't
like,
zoom it?
Right. So I'm trying to like focus, like I'm trying to stare at the ground because the light is like shining right in my face. And I think at that moment I was like just trying to deal with the nerves and just the moment of the limelight just there. So I don't know, we made it up to the ring. She gets out, she makes it up to the ring, and you can already tell she looks very comfortable. Like she's been here before. She has more experience than I do there. So she's been in the moment before. And then the first round starts and I just could not get my legs to move. Like I just felt stuck, frozen. Like I could see what she was throwing coming and my mind would tell my body to move, but I wouldn't move.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation. I don't think you really understand. Like your mind is telling you to do something, but you can't do it.
Right.
Like, and I think it's just called stage fright, right?
Absolutely.
Like it just happens.
Absolutely.
So, and I never expected that to happen. Like I had all these MMA fights, never happened.
Were the MMA fights like still a big production
Not
like that?
as big, but still pretty decent size.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Large
it's still
crowd
like,
lights.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I think it was my first like major fight back after my injury. And then that, and then life in general, whatever has happened through that. And then just to get to that moment, and then it's just, wow, this is like your dream. Like you're here.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to believe. It's very surreal, but you're here. And then I remember the first round ends, and then I go back to the stool, and I'll never forget, Coach said, you just gifted her round one. And he was like, but it's okay. Like, we have 3 more to go. It's fine. After that, I don't remember anything.
Dang.
Nothing. Don't remember what he said. Don't remember just pretty much anything.
It's like your mind was trying to hang on to that
Right,
one piece.
exactly.
It hurt him, and then it was just like
so,
autopilot.
I mean, all in all, like, I'm not here to make excuses about what happened or anything. The better person won that night. Congratulations to her and her career. But we're always going to jump back and bounce back.
Yeah.
Like, it's never, one thing's never going to just keep us down.
Absolutely.
In this sport, you're going to lose. You're going to lose, you're going to win, you're going to get beat up, you're going to get your nose broken. It's going to happen. Like this, that's like saying join boxing, don't get punched in the face. You're going to get punched in the face. Like it's going to happen. So you just have to learn to adapt and move forward.
Yeah.
You lost. Okay. Take it in, dwell on it however long it takes you to get over it. And then you're good to go after that. So
no, that makes sense. Cause like for me, I was there, but I was in the hotel room watching on the live stream, right? So watching on the live stream, it looked amazing in terms of that stadium, not stadium, but the arena, the production of everything. I didn't know that camera was that close to you, but now it makes sense. Cause I'm like, wow, like I can see her. I can see all the details now. It's really cool to watch from an audience perspective, but that's a lot of pressure to have on you in that moment. So I can only imagine in some ways, like, dancing on stages is one thing, but it's very like stationary. Like you're not surrounded by people. Like there's nobody behind you, nobody on the side. You're just performing for like one clear audience. But it's like in that moment, I can only imagine honestly how much pressure it is. And then you get hit the whole time too. So it's
like you're out there across from somebody who would like to rearrange your face. So hey, let's go.
No pressure. All good.
But I mean, like all in all, like, we were born for that moment. Like, I know that. Like, we were born for that light, that stage, that everything. So it's just, fine-tuning things, getting your mind ready and right. And we're going to be back. And that's pretty much it. Like,
it's like everybody who knows you knew that you were the shoe and win for that. So we were all like, something else had to have happened for you to not win because this doesn't make sense.
When I got out of the ring, like, the first person who told me, like, count on your mother to keep it 100% with you. She's like, what the hell happened? Like, I've seen
How
you
did you
fight.
Respond?
I've seen you fight. I've seen you train. I've seen you do everything. Yeah. What happened? I just said, I don't know. Like, I do not know. And then my uncle, the one who started me, he lives in Texas now. He calls me and I'm like, that's like the one person I dreaded. Yeah. I did not want to talk to. He was like, I don't even know what to tell you. And I was like, damn. Like, at that moment, I just wanted to cry.
I bet.
But I'm like, all right, dude, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it happened. It's over. Obviously, I know there's a lot of stuff I need to work on and improve. And then that was it, pretty much. So, we went out. Everybody went out after. We all kept it together. We flew back home the next day. Same thing, kept it together. It's not till I got home to my apartment by myself. I cried for like a day, like a whole day. It was me. I went to McDonald's, ordered the whole menu, just brought it home in bed, just eating crumbs everywhere. You know what? I deserve this. I lost, but I deserve this. But yeah, and then pretty much the week after, I was back in here. Just, the first week back was a little bit rough. You start to like kind of not doubt yourself, but really consider like, damn, like there's a lot you still need to work on. You still need to, push forward. But it all comes with time.
Yeah.
And now we're back in the swing of things, back in the groove. So that's in the past.
Yeah.
It was a good experience. It was a good first fight. It was a big first fight. A lot of people take a lot smaller fights as their first one.
This was a huge one.
But, me, I think I can do anything and I can do it all, as everybody should think the same way about themselves. So, we took it, we went, we had the experience. It happened. We lost. It happens.
Yeah.
And we're going to be back in March and we're going to go get our win.
Yeah. There's so much optimism in the way you speak about your own journey and to others, which I really love. I think it's part of why you like attract so many good people, because you put out that energy.
Yeah.
But there was a word, I don't know if it was that same weekend that we talked or maybe the week after, but when you were talking about your fight, you said, I felt like I failed.
Oh, 100%.
And that kind of stuck with me because I was also in a season of feeling like I failed at something and trying to build myself back up. So
it takes a little bit.
It does.
Like, it really does. I think losses don't affect you so much physically. Even if I would have got knocked out, hey, so be it. You knocked me out. I think I'd rather get knocked out than lose the way that I did. I'd rather you take me out and you make me feel like I really lost than I feel like I failed myself in there more than anything. And that's how it felt. Right. That's really how it felt. So when you come back to the place where you were made, like I was made here, not so much to say like in here, but like
this is where
these
you
are the people that made me.
Yeah.
Coach has made me who I am. And I really feel like when you feel broken, you run to the people who build you and who make you. And that's what I did. And you come back immediately to the place where you're now back at the bottom, but this is where you were made. So you're only going to be able to be rebuilt into a better person. So
I feel like so many folks get lost in kind of like a pit of despair once they failed at something. Yeah. So I guess my question is, how do you keep fighting after failure? How do you get back to it? Because I hear you saying, like, I just got back in, but I think that's a hurdle that you did easily that a lot of people don't.
I just love to do it. Like, I know it sounds kind of weird, but, like, I do like to get punched in the face. Like, I don't know why. Coach is the same way. Like, he likes to, like, we'll be in there just in the middle, just eating punches for breakfast. Like, so I don't know. I love this sport. I love what it brings out of me. And in this sport, it's something that you have to earn. Every punch that you throw, you have to earn it, because that person across from you is not going to let you just get it easily. So you have to figure out how to earn it. And I've always been one to work hard and to want to earn everything that I'm ever going to accomplish here. So I love to fight. Yeah. And that's it. Like, if there was one thing I feel like I was born to do, I was born to fight. I was born to get punched in the face. I was born to fight.
Right.
Like, this is what I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
Like, I say that. I remember, like, my mom telling me, like, when you were younger, you just wanted to be punching everything. You wanted to hit people no matter what. And they would hit you and you didn't care.
You're like, ha.
So, she always calls me crazy, but she knows, everybody knows that this is what I love to do.
Yeah. It's the good kind of crazy.
Right.
You keep pushing. You keep pushing. Well, in this case, we're talking about fighting physically, but also you're fighting that battle mentally after you feel like you failed at something to get back in. So I'm just like, in your past, you talked about like, even as a kid, you were fighting physically, but mentally, were there ever seasons in your life, like getting to this point where you had to fight mentally and change your mindset?
I think the biggest one throughout my career was when I broke my foot. I thought that my career was completely over. Yeah. And I think an injury, I mean, you've torn your ACL.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
I think the mental part of getting over that and learning to trust that heart that is broken and not repaired is bigger than any physical obstacle you'll ever have to get over. Because I came back and I'm like, oh my God, if somebody steps on my foot, it's going to break again.
Right.
And then somebody stepped on it and it didn't break. So I'm like, okay,
little trust.
Baby steps, right? That's a trust fall there. So, and then the next day somebody stepped on it and I pulled it back and I'm like, hey, it's fine. There's a little bit of pain, but a little bit of pain never killed anybody.
Right.
So I think it's just that, like, mentally you have to learn to trust yourself again and learn to trust that you're going to be able to do the necessary steps to get you back to where you're going to be. So I think that's all it is. You just have to learn to trust yourself again.
Yeah. And I think that comes from the self-discipline.
Yes.
Because the more you're able to discipline yourself and have that consistency, you build that trust with yourself to say, I know what I can do for myself.
So the more consistent you are, the more you can tell yourself, I've done this before. Not only can I do it again, but I can do it better.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Still related to fighting, but a little bit of a jump or tangent. I'm curious in your experience as a woman in the boxing world or fighting world in general, because it was MMA at first.
Right. But I feel like regardless of what it is, I think regardless of any sport, as a female going into any sport, but specifically one like this, I think that you don't have any respect, I guess you could say. Like, you have to come in here and really hold your own. Like, no matter what, hold your own. Because obviously, men don't want to hit you that hard. Men don't want to this. Men don't want to that. And I understand, like, I'm very reasonable, right? A man is stronger than a woman. I get it. But you have to be able to push yourself to that level to where they're like, oh, like, okay,
I got to give it my all.
Like, I see her working. I see her doing it.
Right.
So I've always tried to outwork the men. I'm not going to be better than you. Fully aware of that.
Yeah.
You're faster. You're stronger. You're just going to be better, right? Physically, but you're not going to outwork me. And that's the one thing. I don't care what we're doing. We could be cleaning toilets. You're not going to outwork me.
My toilet going to be spotless.
Exactly.
Just watch.
Exactly. To see my face in there. But no, that's the one thing I feel like I've always had over people.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what it is, you're not going to outwork me. You can have more talent than me. You can be better than me. You can be faster than me. But you're not going to outwork me. I don't care what it is. I will kill myself trying to outwork you. So I will die trying to outwork you. So it doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter what it is.
Period.
I will outwork you. I will outwork you.
No, I like that because I really think that is the number one quality for like all of the most successful athletes and the most successful business folks, like entrepreneurs. It's like you just keep, like, your work ethic is times 100 of the average person. Like, you're willing to just keep going, keep pushing. But then it's almost to what detriment? Like, how do you take care of yourself in that? And I think that's part of the work that we ignore. Like, resting and taking care of yourself is how you keep going.
It's part of the discipline, right? Like, people are like, how do you go to bed so early? Sometimes I don't want to. But hey, a few melatonin gummies and I'm out.
But you have a clear vision and goals.
So I have to be in bed at a certain time because my body is broken throughout the day. So I have to make sure that I go to bed and sleep and get up so I can do it all over again.
Yeah.
So it's just a part of that discipline. Like, regardless. If you have discipline, you're going to make it far in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Yeah.
What I like about the way that you train and kind of just the seasons of boxing in general is, like, when you're in training mode, discipline. Right before the fight, there's a lot more sacrifice, right? You're not eating, you're not drinking the water, you're trying to get this way in. But once it's time, there's also this little bit of time to take a break and indulge.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that's the cycles that I want to see in my life. So I'm not going to say for everybody, but for me, like, that's almost a cycle that I like and want to see more in my life, is like, there's seasons of hustle, a little bit of sacrifice, and then celebrating those small wins.
Hit the goal and then, have some McDonald's.
Once you hit that goal, indulge a little bit. Like, and I think there's almost two paths that I see most folks go. It's like, I'm so self-disciplined that I never give myself a break, and then there's burnout happening.
Exactly.
And then there's the route of, like, I indulge all the time, where every time I get $1, every time I get a dessert, like, we're just always indulging.
Right.
And then this, like, middle path of finding balance is hard to reach because we're just going so far. So, like, that's definitely one of my goals, and one of the pieces of inspiration I'm taking from your journey, honestly, is fighting after failure is so much about mindset and returning to the roots and the people that built you up. But the other thing I'm hearing is, like, balance the self-discipline.
I mean, I feel like it's always mind over matter, regardless of what. Because your body will give up 100 times before your mind does. Mm-hmm. So if your mind says you can still do it, then you can still do it. So there's nothing... Like, you can punch me 100 times. As long as in my head, I'm like, you're still not going to hurt me. You're not going to hurt me.
But, so when's your next fight?
March 9th.
Okay.
So Yeah, I haven't even posted it yet, but March 9th in Tijuana, Mexico. It's always been a goal of mine, a dream of mine to fight in Mexico.
Love that.
My whole family's from Mexico, so definitely a dream come true.
The whole family gonna show up and show out too.
Exactly. And like I said, my best friend, she already got her ticket, so we're gonna be down there. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna get our win, and we're gonna celebrate after.
Yeah, so. I was about to say, so what's gonna happen there? You just told me. Yeah. I love it. We're going for the win. We're gonna celebrate after indulgence.
Exactly.
Take a little break and get back to it.
Right back to work because we're gotta get ready for the next one.
I love it. How often are you wanting to fight?
This year alone, I want to fight at least 4 times.
Okay.
So
kind of like every 3-ish months.
Yeah, every 2 to 3 months or so. Yeah. So, and I feel like that'll help me stay, like you said, that path of discipline and then, a little break, and a little break, so that I don't burn myself out completely. But I love to fight. There's no other feeling than punching somebody in the face.
Okay, so how did you get the nickname Castigo?
It's actually from a song.
Okay.
So when my brother and I first started MMA, we were trying to figure out, okay, well, what are we going to call ourselves? And then he was like, well, let's just do the same thing. And I said, no, that's corny. I'm not doing that with you. Like, we already wear the same kind of gear. Like, we already do everything alike.
What's the age difference here?
He's 3 years older than me.
Okay.
So, there was a song that I listened to over and over and over, and it's actually called Castigo. And I was like, you know what? That's what it is. That's what it's going to be.
Okay. And this was like when you were in training?
Yeah, I think I was like 14, maybe 15.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a long time.
So you've had this nickname for a long time.
For a very long time.
I'm saying nickname, but it's your fighting name,
It's been a long time, yeah.
Dang, okay.
That's where it comes from.
I love it. Yay. Okay, so really it's just like a couple last questions that I want to ask you. One is on the advice side, because obviously I'm getting inspiration, but I'm not training to fight. So for anybody that's listening to this that has dreams of becoming a pro fighter, like what would be some of those like top tips or recommendations you would give them?
It's all about discipline. You gotta be able to schedule out your day. Like I have a full-time job too. So I work 15, 18-hour days. You gotta be able to do that. After that, I come here for 2 hours, then I go home, go to bed. On my days off, I train 3 times a day. Like it's all about discipline. Like this has to be your top priority. This sport is not forgiving at all. So whoever's outworking you will outwork you. You have to be putting in the most. I always figure if I'm not training, somebody's training to beat me.
Yeah.
So you have to be in the gym. You have to be doing everything you possibly can to make yourself better.
Yeah.
So that's my only recommendation. Discipline.
I like that. It's number one. It's like it translates into everything you do because we see it in action. Okay, so then my last question, it's sort of related, but rather than like giving advice to other folks, I want you to think back to 14-year-old Bree, and 14-year-old Bree's right there.
Okay.
So can you just like talk to 14-year-old Bree? Imagine like what she was thinking at that time. What would you tell her?
Tara, it's going to be a very long journey, and I mean very long. It's going to be a lot of doubting yourself, a lot of asking yourself, is this worth it? Is this what you really want to do? As you hold your broken nose at home, is this what it's going to be every day, day in and day out? Is this what you really want to do? And at that time, the answer was always yes. No matter how bad of a day I had in the gym, because you're not going to have perfect days in the gym. You're going to get here and spar one day, and you're going to get beat up. You're not always going to feel the greatest. You're not always going to be 100%. But at the end of the day, the answer is yes. This is what I want to do. So it's going to be a very long road. A lot of tears, a lot of laughter, a lot of memories made with the people that built you. But you're going to make it. And you're going to make yourself proud, which I feel is the most important thing.
Wow. Yeah.
But not only that, you're going to make the people that built you and were there for you very proud. Yeah. And I feel like when I lost the last fight, the person I felt I let down the most was Coach Cesar. And it still kind of bothers me. So I really want to like let him know, like, hey, like all these years, this decade, it was not for nothing.
Right.
Like we're going to get there.
Right.
I just need to, just give me another shot.
One more shot. We're going to keep pushing.
I can do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I would tell my younger self. Like, we're going to make it. And we already
got that. You got this. Yeah. I'm sure 14-year-old Bree didn't even imagine this moment.
All. No, not at all.
Oh, I love it. And now you're like, people are asking me to be on podcasts, all the things.
We're going to Mexico. We're fighting in Mexico. So, yeah. No, it's a long road, but it's like, I would say a beautiful experience, and the process that it takes to get there. If there's one thing that I love more than fighting, is the process. I love the training camp process. Like, this is week 2 for us. And in week 1, you feel like you just suck. Because it's week 1, 3 times a day, you're always tired. Week 2, it gets a little bit better, and then it gets a little bit better. And just like the progression, that process, that's like an addicting feeling to me. To just see the progression. And by the time week 9, week 10 comes, right before fight week, you're like, you look back at week 1, you're like, I don't even know that person. I don't even know who that is. Right.
Yeah.
So that would be
I love it. I'm like really inspired and realizing I need to get back to my workouts. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't trying to fight, but like I miss feeling strong. And there's something about that strength, like you're saying, the progression, the transformation, that process is everything. And in whatever field people are in, I think that's something folks can take away. So
I agree.
Is there anything else you want people to know about you, Bree?
That's it. We're back in March. That's about it. So
I'm so excited.
Back in the gym every day. That's pretty much it. That's my only goal. That's my only focus from here till that date.
Full focus. I love it. Well, then let's call it a wrap. Where can people follow you, find you?
I'm on Instagram. I don't even know what my Instagram handle is, though. I'm not on there a lot. That's
we'll find it. We'll tag it in the description.
All right. I'm not on there a lot. I don't really do social media.
She's too busy training.
But I mean, with this sport and nowadays the way things are, you kind of need it.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Yeah. Y'all gonna hear about Bree for sure. Whether she's posting or someone's posting it for her, she's gonna have a social media manager and everything.
But yeah, well, just thank you for having me. Thank you for. I hope I didn't do too bad today.
You were amazing. Thank you for sharing pieces of your story.
Me on here.
Yay. That's it. We good, girl. Thanks for tuning in to the Here to Uplift podcast. I hope you're finishing this episode feeling inspired and ready to take action. We want to keep the stories and inspiration coming, so please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with a friend. We really appreciate it. Welcome to the Uplift community, friend. Please join us for another episode soon.